Good evening, everyone. I am going to, from my opinion, talk about the trucking experience. Now, hear me out. Some people may not agree with my opinion and my reality of the trucking industry. You know, we have an experienced based industry. And I understand that. And I understand the value because everything is situational. You don't, driving on black ice, that's situational. Going to unfamiliar shippers or receivers is situational. And sometimes those loading docks seem like they're built for 40 footers, not 53 footers. And that's a challenge. And it takes some experience, some calming of the spirit, to when you see other trucks moving around you and everything, and some are impatient, but you want to park without making contact with anything. For a lot of the new drivers that are coming out into the industry, and this is really who I want to make this for, but it's twofold. It's something I want to say to the veteran drivers. And this is not to step on anybody's toes. This is just my observation. New drivers. I remember as a new driver going into CDL school. And maybe it's because I didn't do my research properly. But you go to CDL school and you get your Class A CDL and you feel like I'm on my way to success. Maybe not proverbial riches, but success. And then you get your CDL and you start looking for jobs, and then you see, all these good paying jobs want a year's experience, at least. A year's experience. So where am I going to get a year's experience? So then, unless you have some family that's in the trucking industry, you have to get with one of the major carriers and endure not just the learning curve, but the professionalism or the unprofessionalism of the company that you're working for. This is real. I think all CDO schools should have former drivers to explain to students the realities of the field that they are getting into. People say there's a driver shortage. It's not a I don't think there's a driver shortage. I don't know everything that's going on Earth. But I don't think it's a driver shortage. I think there's a shortage of pay. I definitely think that. I think that the people say, no experience to 6 months experience, you're not really worth value. And I must say that I would never say that nobody is not worth value. Hell, we all got bills we have to pay. Whether you're a new driver, you're not going into no other job, they're going to tell you, here's your hourly pay, here's your salary pay. And you're going to get paid because you're an adult and you have to pay your bills. But this is a field that you can come into, and depending on what company you are with, drive 3,000 miles, and after taxes and whatever, you might take home $600 a week. And that to some might sound like a lot, but it's nothing compared to the skill set that you have to have maneuvering this house on wheels through unfamiliar territory. I want to say to newer drivers, to you might be with a not so good trainer, And I want to tell you to endure, to hang on, be encouraged, because that's only just a temporary situation. It's a temporary situation. You know, I too myself, I went to 2 trainers. One was not so good, one was good. And the one that was not so good, I want to say that it's a shame. It's a shame that how people can get a little bit of authority or be in a position of mentorship or teachership, and these people can't even train their own kids. So I understand. I understand. And I understand from, a trainer perspective. Hey, you never know who's going to come sitting beside you. That's probably like being in prison and you don't know who your next cellmate going to be. All you can do is be civil and professional and personable. Try to be. But my main reason, you all, for this is just some things that have been on my mind, things that I have been observing. And to me, the cents per mile way of pay is an antiquated system. To me. Because nobody mentions the fact that, especially if you're a company driver, unless you're working for Walmart, which takes 3 years of driving experience to even get with them. And hopefully you don't have any sort of minor or major incident in those 3 years before you go apply with them. 3 years of experience. But my train of thought just left me for a second because I switched to that Walmart thing and so forth, which I'm going to come back to also. But a new driver coming inside of this profession, man. The antiquated system. Antiquated means old. Shit. It's old. And many of us know that with some of these modern companies, or these companies, the cents per mile does not meet up with inflation. It doesn't. You ask my opinion, and just coming off the head, my numbers may not be right. But no driver with a year or more experience, in my opinion, doing this job, should make nothing less between $30 to $35 per hour. Per hour. Forget the cents per mile. Why I say that, I'm going to go back to that train of thought that left me. In most companies, say you got to go get an empty trailer. You're still on duty status. But a lot of companies, you're not going to get paid for that time. It could take you 6 hours. It could take you have to go a couple hundred miles to find an empty trailer and not get paid. And there should be some labor laws against that. There really should. Shouldn't nobody be able to get away with that? In my opinion, a lot of the major carriers and so forth are getting away with murder. Straight murder. Straight pimping truck drivers. We know that nothing gets to nobody without us. No milk, whether you're a tanker driver, no gas, no water, no food, and yet in many instances we are being pimped. And I think some of the veteran drivers who haven't taken a stand, like them old-fashioned drivers in the day, When you had like the Hoffers and so forth, they stealing pension money or whatever the hell they was. But I'm going to tell you something. They were forced to be reckoned with. Those dudes back then would shut your company down. There are prosperous drivers out here. But there are also drivers who are struggling, who are suffering. Really at the policies of the company they're working for. And in my opinion, it shouldn't just be a choice. Okay, you get your experience there. You get it. No, some of these motherfuckers don't need to exist. That's where I'm at. Don't need to exist. When you got people who can't, who drive, I don't give a damn if they've been driving 30 days. They were diligent enough to go to school and to take that road test and to meet the qualifications as a Class A CDL holder. We are the kings of the road. And in my opinion, we are getting straight fucking pimped. And laying down. Taking it. Without grease. You older guys that have been out there, and whoever supposed to be representing the truck drivers need to get on a good foot. Don't be going in nowhere with your head bowed down. This is about demanding. Do you realize the power that we have over the American economy? What they gonna do? Drive stagecoaches? Pull trains up back behind Lowe's and Food Lion? Of course not. We have power. And it hasn't been exercised because I guess in this day and time, most people are just thinking about themselves. Stop thinking about your goddamn self and start thinking about the one that's coming up. You're not going to be a truck driver forever. And if you have been in the business for 25, 30 years, you ought to be pretty much where you need to be financially. You ought to be where, I want to say something, and I don't want to say this in a judgmental way because, hey, shit happens and people still got to make a living. But if I hear one other person that tell me, oh, I've been driving for 25, 30 years, and you with Swift or Western Express or USA Trucking or one of these companies, and you've been driving 25, 30 years, well, go ahead and tell the person when that comes out your mouth that you done fucked up somewhere. Because after 25, 30 years, if your choice, I can see if you with Walmart, somebody who's paying $80,000 a year or whatever. But you come back with one of the mega, in the same breath that you can come out and say you got 25 years, I've been driving these trucks for 25 years, and a blah, 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 and you back with a beginning carrier. Don't talk about how many years of experience you got. Share some of your knowledge. Maybe explain to a newer driver, hey, shit happens. This is what you got to be careful of. Don't get comfortable. If you get tired, pull over. I don't care what your DM says. I don't care what anybody says. If you got to get out and walk around, take a half-hour nap. If the load is late, fuck it. The load is late. Because if you go to sleep behind this wheel going down the highway, you late. And God forbid, some person or family riding down the street is late. Forever. So let me get back to my point. Whoever is the leadership in the trucking industry. I remember President Trump said something, he met, it's a video on YouTube with Seth Meyers, and it goes back to when he was promising truckers, it's going to be this and that and so forth. He's going to look into trucker pay. He had meetings with truck company executives and things of that nature and so forth. And this is not a political thing and so forth. But whoever you are, Democrat, Republican, whatever leadership you are, you need to do something for truck drivers. Trickle that money directly to drivers, like those stimulus checks that should have been out by now to all the citizens of America. Trickle that shit to drivers, not via our companies. All our shit is federal. Think about this. The DOT is federal. They have all of our information from your CDL license to your record. Federal. All these rules and regulations, federal. Then why aren't we getting federal pay? Most federal government workers are paid well. And we all sitting out here bullshitting on a cents per mile system that's antiquated. Well, if it's going to be cents per mile, let it be $65 up to $1 for some. For more than that, I just say just speaking. And it shouldn't be scaled. That's how these companies are getting people. It's scaled. They say, you can earn 55 cents per mile. You can earn 65 cents per mile. But that's up to. That's up to. The more, most of these, man, listen. Those in position, man, need to stop letting these companies punk the drivers. Straight punking us. And we just laying down for it. Where's the courage? Where's the leadership? Is there leadership for us? I've seen hearings on Capitol Hill and so forth, and drivers go and they get, this driver says he has this much experience, and these are the, listen to me. We understand the rules and the regulations, and it's good to put up videos that are about, upcoming changes and rules or regulations, upcoming changes in hours of service. Talk about some goddamn upcoming changes in this pay. And nothing happens unless we make it happen. Unless we make it happen. Talk about a shortage of drivers. And some companies ought to be ashamed of themselves. Just think, go back and look on YouTube. Didn't Walmart, last year, the drivers win a $55 million settlement for something with back pay, on-duty back pay? $55 million. The Walmart family can write a check like that. Why would you have to even put your drivers through that? Why should drivers even have to go through that? $55 million. The richest family in the world. And if they're going through that, if they had to go through that, what's a company like a behemoth like Walmart? And Walmart drivers pay good. My thing with them is the years of experience that you require. You're always going to have a shortage of drivers. You can guarantee that. Always. That's why most of these major companies right now contracting out jobs. Some of the major carriers are the Food Lions, the different places, you got to get these major carriers to haul some of that load, because there's no way nobody's going to keep drivers going to go for the bullshit pay. It takes a level of maturity in this industry. Everybody an experience-based, trust me, more people will want to get that experience if that money was right. That's the common denominator in it all. And in my opinion, go back to the beginning of this conversation, in my opinion, truckers are getting pimped, are getting screwed, and in a lot of cases without grease. So I hope this, I really do, I hope this video can reach the president or people on Congress who you got to understand that your drivers are stuff. Don't you understand that we drove, I know I did, we drove and continued driving before this pandemic, during it, when everything shut down, truckers, we were still out here. Still out here. And nobody was giving us masks. There were no things, drivers coming over to Qualcomm. Oh, drivers, if you need masks and gloves, blah, blah, blah. No, we had to go buy that. There's no hazard pay. People need to stop treating us like we're delivery drivers. Delivering to mom and pop stores. We are driving houses on wheels. We are more than delivery drivers. We are the front line of the American economy. And if you other fellow truckers do not realize the importance, the value of who you are, and of what we do, people don't realize backing this truck up at night in some of these truck stops, where the majority of accidents happen, that's an art form. That's just not a skill set, that's an art form. Making some of these turns that we have to make, it's an art form. Start valuing us. It's a shame. Got some of these DMs talking to the truckers who are the bottom line. We are the bottom line. Nothing's going to get to nobody without us. And we deserve better pay. We deserve better pay. And that should be immediately. That don't take no goddamn debate. No, we're going to have this subcommittee meeting or whatever. No. Y'all need to get on a good foot. Those in Congress and whatever, get on a good foot and get checks to all these drivers that are out here for hazard pay. And in my opinion, some of y'all have better experience, know a little more. I don't know everything and so forth. But to me, the cents per mile is bullshit. It's bullshit. What other jobs out here pay cents per hour? Who gonna work a job out there in the world other than trucking that pay cents per hour? And I don't know if I completed that, but let me, the on-duty thing. Whenever we are on duty, whether we're moving an empty trailer here or going looking for an empty trailer, on duty, you're supposed to be getting paid something. I'm one person. The industry can do without one person. But I tell you what they can't do without. They can't do without all of us. Y'all be safe out there. Peace.